and today's tutorial is more of an invitation for you to enjoy creating your own paintings based on vegetables or what you can find in the kitchen. You can use paprika, beet, carrot, coffee, and whatever you find that can generate a little pigment. I'm going to show you today how to prepare them, and we're going to make a few paintings that are going to be very easy to make but that you can really enjoy at home in this time of quarantine. And I am going to show you each of the colors. And I am going to tell you how I got it. The first one that I made, or what I am going to show you, is the color of the beet. It is a very beautiful, very strong color. What I simply did was to cut it into slices, put it to cook after a while. When it was already cooked, I took it out and let the little water that was left dry a little so that the color would be more concentrated, and then I know if I'm left to use it, I also added it with a little bit of vinegar. Vinegar is so that the paint lasts a little longer so it won't be damaged. Let's remember that we are working with the paints as if they were watercolors ready. The next color I made was the grape. What I did was put the grapes to cook, but what I did was only cook the shells, which I thought would be better because the color is really in the shells. So when I let them cook for a while, then I crushed them. A little press them with something strong with the spoon. Or you can do it too if you have a mortar. You can press it with the mortar and then filter it, and I got this color. It gives a color that is a little more purple. It is beautiful. It also has a strong color. We continue with the red fruit tea. What I did is simply heat the water to pour 2 tea bags so that it was strong. Surprisingly for me, it gives us a red color. At first it looks red, but when it dries it looks like a kind of gray, so that is the red fruit tea. The next one I have here is the paprika, the red paprika. What I did was blend it. I also blended it with a little bit of vinegar, and then I filtered what was left. And we were left with this, or I was left with this color. It gives a very nice, very strong orange. The next one is the carrot, which I blended. Then I passed through the strainer, and what was left then is what I used to paint. Remember that whatever we are making, liquefied or cooked, we add a little bit of vinegar to give it more duration. Also to fix the color a little more and the less. What do I have here or not? The last one. The penultimate one is the leaves that I took from the patio. I simply blended them with a little bit of vinegar, and it gave me this very beautiful green tone. And we are now missing the instant coffee that I simply took a little bit of hot water. I apply a little bit of instant coffee and it gives us this color. So we have here with these a great variety of paints too. Work with soft brushes number 1 number. Both of them look the same tone when they are fresh, but when they dry the color goes up and looks even stronger. It is also good to keep in mind to let it dry in layers to be able to apply a layer when it is already dry and view some details. Let's do it. Here's some flowers so that we can see how we can work with these tones. For this type of flowers that I am going to make, I am going to use a soft round brush that is also more or less not too thin. And I am simply going to make the petals in a very relaxed way. Let's enjoy a little. The idea is to enjoy. This is more like a game, something to do in this time of quarantine. And then what I did was the petal not complete, so I could leave a part of light. So I made the petals and then I applied it a little bit of water. And I'm going to lighten my paint. Look at the beautiful tones it gives. This is the red color that I get in beetroot, which is also used in other places. And then we can work on it. Washes so that it gives us some areas that are lighter than others. Remember that when we work like this, with these watercolor tones, or that it is in technical tones, such as very watered down, then it is good, or it is. Important to keep in mind that in these techniques, there is no way to extract whites, but rather they are left from the beginning. So the idea is that if you want something very clear, you don't paint it, or you simply add a lot of water so that it is very clear. But it cannot be corrected later, so you also have to play a little with the error you have to enjoy the process. And so I am going to paint different flowers with different tones that I have here. One thing that you are going to see is that you can combine the tones. For example, I can take a red and blur it or degrade it best with orange and then with yellow. And it is going to give us a very beautiful degradation and arrangement there. So I have the leaves here with the green. I am going to draw the leaf, and what I am going to, I am not at all clear about what I am going to paint. I simply want to paint some flowers and do is water it down a little so that it becomes clear towards the center. I can also combine it with the yellow that I have so that the tone of the leaf is more nuanced. What I am going to take into account is what you can take into account. I am giving a first layer on everything. When it is dry, I am going to do other details, and you will see how beautiful it looks. I will be painting 6 different flowers with their respective leaves. Look what I can be combining the shades, doing and discovering, enjoying a little with this, and see how the colors behave. And this is how our project will turn out. Well, since I have some flowers, some leaves, then I'm going to make some strokes with my raised brush. I'm going to make those. I know the sinuous lines. I'm going to make other little flowers that are even thinner, and so little by little I will fill the space. Another thing that I can do, or that you can also do, are spikes that are diagonal lines from one side to the other, from one side to the other. And there it will go. The spike coming out looks very nice. The design we are making has a lot of movement, and you are going to have a lot of fun because you are just going to be rehearsing and seeing how things turn out. And finally, to finish it, to give it a slightly vintage touch, with the coffee, I started to apply a little coffee in all the corners around so that it looked like slightly aged paper. So I applied and watered it down too, so that it looked like a gradient from dark to light. That is the very dark corners, and towards the flowers a little bit lighter. Once we have our design, I let it dry, and I'm going to add another layer here where I'm going to make some details, such as the veins in the middle of the flowers of the leaves. You will work on the details little by little so that it also looks more interesting. And here, just to show you, I have this landscape that also has a first base of orange tones with the color of the grapes, with the color of the beet. So I made that sunset from a base also with green. And then I'm here reviewing, putting a little more green, a little bit of brown also in the areas so that it looks like the mountains stand out. Then I'm going to do some more details. So with the coffee, I'm painting a little tree. With the eyeliner first, I'm giving the base with the eyeliner, and then I'm going to paint some leaves with all the colors that I have. I'm going to let them dry, and then I'll come back and paint another little bit of the leaves, and this will make the foliage look even more interesting. And I'll finish it with some little flowers at the bottom. I am also simply going to place the 5 droplets with the brush to form the flower. The challenge is that you start investigating at home all the possibilities that you have with all the vegetables that exist with any product that you see that suits you. I can generate a painting that you can create. Enjoy this process of researching and making the paintings. Little by little, your own work of art from this. You start painting to generate things that you see that you can do, and you will see that something very, very beautiful will come out, and I invite. And all that remains is to say that until you discover which ones look best, above all and most importantly, subscribe and continue seeing me in the next tutorial.